Hi, it's Bruce. All right, let's talk about hurricanes. Right now, as I'm talking, we've got a hurricane bearing down on us, Hurricane Ian, and it's supposed to hit in a few days. Here in Florida, we get hurricanes. That's a fact of life. That's just part of it. But what do you do? Let's talk about it a little bit. Okay, I've had several people ask me questions about what to do with your bees during a hurricane. I've had people ask me if they should take their bees and put them in the garage, put them in the shed or something. No, don't do that. I've had people ask me if you should close the entrance off so they're trapped inside. No, don't do that either. They'll do what they do. They know what they're doing. So what can I do as a beekeeper? Well, let's think about this a little bit. First of all, before I get into that, let's talk about the Weather Channel. Okay, Hurricane Ian bearing down on us. Maybe it's going to hit us direct. The Weather Channel's not really your friend. The Weather Channel depends on advertising, and the way that they really make their advertising is fear-mongering. Yeah, fear-mongering. Oh my gosh, hurricane's coming. Run for your life. If you get to Illinois, you may be safe. Nah, nah. So many times here in Florida, there'll be a hurricane and it may hit up in the panhandle around Tallahassee or a little bit west of there. And I'll have my overseas family and friends calling and texting and emailing saying, "Oh, are you all right? The hurricane hit." Well, that hurricane was 3 hours drive. We had nothing. We had no rain or nothing. Okay, having said that, hurricanes are serious. When you do have hurricanes, you get high winds. And a lot of times that hurricane's going to spin off into tornadoes. So high winds and tornadoes. What's that going to do to my bees? Well, there's a few things I can do, not a whole lot, but a few things that I can do. For example, you notice those posts that are stuck up on either side of these two hives here. That is kind of to keep them from falling over. Another thing is you see that ring in the ground right there. I have another one in the backside over here. Oops. See right here? Those anchor points will tie them down. So I run these metal posts into the ground, hopefully to keep these things from tipping over. Another thing that I do, hello girls. So I haven't put the posts in here and here and here yet, but I'll be doing that. Okay, another thing that I'm going to do, see, this stuff always happens this time of year. Here, I was just talking about the Brazilian pepper getting ready to bloom last 2 videos ago, I guess. And look at all the supers on here. The Brazilian pepper is just now coming into place, into bloom. Let me show you what some of that looks like right over here. You see that there? The blooms are just starting to pop. Can you see that? When these things fully pop open, this tree, all these trees like this are going to be covered with bees taking in that nectar. It's great stuff, great stuff. And even though I've added supers onto several of my colonies, in the month or so that the Brazilian pepper blooms, I'm liable to add probably one more super each on each of these, and we'll see how it goes with the rest. Over there, Several supers there under queen excluders. And if we have a really, really good flow, all this stuff is going to be filled up. Maybe I'll be adding more supers onto there. And all this stuff's going to fill up with honey. Now, if we have a hurricane, what's that do to my honey crop, first of all? Well, what I can do is not much. You know, when this hurricane force wind comes and knocks down all my blooms, it washes the nectar right out of those little flowers. Now, this will bloom for a month. The hurricane, heavy rains, maybe 3-4 days. So we'll recover as long as they don't blow over. But the big problem that I could have is these hives blowing over. So after I put those stakes in the ground, after I put a ground pole to give them a little bit of stability, I'm going to put a cinder block on top of each one of these colonies, okay? And by having a cinder block on top, I'm hoping that with all the weight, they'll keep stable enough to where they won't tip over in the high winds. What else could happen? Trees. Okay, these pine trees could fall and take out some of my colonies. That would be horrible. Probably I'm going to leave the swarm traps where they are. I've got a few swarm traps hanging around, and at least most of them I'll probably leave hanging on the trees because they're anchored pretty good. But yeah, trees can fall. Stuff can be blowing around, so you want to take in everything you got laying around that could blow around, okay? That big old pine tree there could take out my little carport here. That would really suck because I really like that thing. I could lose my shed. I could lose the roof of my house if we get a direct hit or a tornado spin-off from our hurricanes. Years ago, I used to go crazy strapping everything down. I'll show you a picture. I used to strap these things down so hard, and I kind of quit doing that because I think what you can do is what you can do. All right, I'm going to prepare as best I can. I'll clean this place up so I don't have stuff laying around that's going to blow around, and I'll, stabilize the stands and put cinder blocks on top of the hives to give them even some more weight. They're already heavy with honey in there. And I'll hope for the best. But think of this. I'm a hobby beekeeper. I'm not a professional at this by any means. But bees are agriculture. Bees are agriculture. So when it's all said and done, I'm a farmer, just like other farmers. And when you're farming bees, any kind of farm crop you do, you depend on the weather. You depend on the weather, and you can lose your honey crops. You can lose your bees. The big danger for bees is drowning. But if that hive was to blow over and fall down on the ground, if the queen survived, I may be able to pick them up and put them back together the next morning. But if they're hammered with tons of rain, they might not survive. But if we do get a direct hit of the hurricane, and I'm wiped out here, well, I'll start again. It'd break my heart to lose all these bees. Some of them have been with me for years. But this is agriculture. And so we depend on the weather. We depend on the flowers and rain. So that's it. Don't be putting your bees in your garage if you're looking for the hurricane. Just tidy up as best you can. Clean up your yard a little bit and do what you can to protect your bees. All right? That's what I had to say today. And so that's about the size of it. Now, I've got a playlist talking about bee work, and I recommend you take a look at it. I'll link it up right over here. All right. I'll see you next one. Bye-bye. Hi, it's Bruce. All right. Right now, there's a hurricane bearing down on us, Hurricane Ian. Come on, girl, get off me.